It was supposed to be routine board meeting, quarterly projections, strategy updates, discussion of a potential merger. Everything had gone according to schedule, exactly how Ryan planned it. Until the door clicked shut, and Jungkook, John's group CEO, her husband of precisely 34 days, leaned back in his leather chair, rolled his neck, and said with the dangerously even tone, lock the door. Ryan blinked. Why? Because if someone walks in, they will see my wife in my lap. She barely had time to process it before Jungkook reached and pulled with a tiny yelp. Ryan stumbled right onto him, knees pressing into the side of his chair, arms instinctively catching around his shoulders. Jungkook, Sha, CEO orders. We are in your office. Exactly, he said. She gasped as he kissed the side of her neck, slow, deliberate. You are impossible, and you are wearing the pencil skirt again, he murmured. You know what that does to me. It's a work skirt, because I am still at work. You are also my wife. That doesn't. Oh God. His lips trailed to her collarbone. Warm through the fabric, she bit her lip. Jungkook, seriously, I have 30 unread emails and a call with Hong Kong at 3. Reschedule it, he muttered, tugging gently at her tucked in top. I scheduled it. He kissed her again. Unschedule it. That's not a word. He pulled back just enough to meet her eyes. It is now. Ryan groaned, trying to slide off his lap. He tightened his grip. You kissed me at the elevator this morning, he said. You don't get to do that and then spend all day pretending I am your emotionally unavailable superior. You are emotionally unavailable. I married you. Okay, fair. Which means, he said, leaning in, you have 3 job titles. Oh, he ticked them off, kissing between each word. 1 executive assistant, 2 Mrs. John, kiss her temple, 3 full-time distraction. She choked on a laugh. You are such a menace. You should turn on. I sound overworked. Same thing. Jungkook. He pulled her in for a real kiss this time, deep, warm, dizzying, that kind that reminded her how dangerous he was when he got bored during board meetings. She melted for half a second before. Wait. Did you even sign the merger proposal? Did you bring it here? Yes. Then hand it over. I will sign it, Jungkook said. Ryan reached blindly toward the desk, still half in his lap, fumbling for the folder. He took it with one hand, signed without even looking. You know, she murmured against his lips. I used to think we were cold. I was. You are still emotionally repressed. Only in public. She snorted. You act like you didn't threaten to fire me that one time I brought you the wrong espresso. And then I married you. She grinned. Mistake? Best one I have ever made. Ryan leaned back just enough to look at him fully. 34 days, she whispered. Doesn't feel real. It is. His thumb brushed her under chin. You have lived here too long now. You have organized my files. You have alphabetized my wrist. You needed it. You yell in your sleep. That's not confirmed. You wear my shirts. They are comfortable. You also sigh every time I leave the room like I have betrayed you. She flushed. You noticed that? I notice everything, he said softly. Especially when it comes to you. Her chest fluttered. She jolted upright. Shit, I forgot to send the analytics report to Jungkook pulled her back down with a growl. You can send it in 5 minutes. You said that 10 minutes ago. You are the one who wore the skirt. You are the one who married your assistant. Exactly. And with that, he kissed her again. This time slower, this time sweet, this time like he didn't hate mornings. After all, not with her. in them. Flashback when Jungkook accidentally revealed their marriage in a meeting. A few days ago, the quarterly operations meeting was supposed to be uneventful. PowerPoint slides, quarterly margins, expense forecasting, minor passive aggressive tension between department heads. And Bayan was crushing it as usual. She sat beside Jungkook at the head of the long executive table, heels crossed neatly, laptop open, talking the team through upcoming logistics. Jungkook, silent, brooding, sipping espresso, watching her like he was at a Michelin star chef's table and she was the main course. Everything was going fine until. So one VP said, tapping his pen on the conference table, "We will not join group approval on any final vendor for the Tokyo expansion. Who should I send?" Ryan looked up. "You can route it through my department. I will. She will review it. And I will sign off. My wife's opinion is final." Silence. Like drop a pin silence. Ryan blinked. The VP blinked. The entire room blinked. "Your wife?" Jungkook did not even flinch. "Yes." Ryan turned to him slowly. "Jungkook." "Yes, Mrs. John." Mouth agape, one poor intern physically choked on her iced Americano. Mr. Choi from Finance whispered, "I knew it," under his breath. Miss Han in HR started like she was already rewriting 4 sections of company policy. "You were not going to warn me." Jungkook shrugged casually. "I thought everyone knew." "No one knew." He leaned back unbothered. "Well, they do now." Vine shot him a warning glare. "Don't look at me like that," he added quietly, just for her. "You are the one who kept using Mr. John in bed last night. I assumed we were over the secrecy thing." She kicked him under the table. He did not even flinch, just smirked. Meanwhile, chaos was unfolding around them. The legal team whispered about NDAs. Marketing asked if there was a PR opportunity. HR asked if they needed to schedule an ethics review. Someone tried to Google, "Can you marry your boss and still be on payroll?" Jungkook finally stood and adjusted his cuffs. "Meeting adjourned," he said, "and if anyone leaks this to press before I get the chance to post it myself, consider your company ID revoked." And with that, he turned to Ryan, offered her hand, and walked her right out of the boardroom. Outside the meeting room, Ryan hissed, "That was a total ambush." "You love surprises." "I love chocolate surprises, Jungkook, not HR violations. Please." "You are not a HR violation. You are a corporate asset with exclusive executive benefits. You are lucky. I love you." Ryan stared at him. "I know," he said, pulling her closer. "Now kiss me in the elevator and make it worth the scandal." By lunchtime, the entire executive floor knew, not because Jungkook made an announcement, no, that would have required actual communication, but because every time someone passed his glass-walled office, they saw exactly two things. Vayan in her usual seat by the window, calm, composed, typing emails like a pro. Jungkook leaned against his desk, arm crossed, looking like he just kissed her into next week. And sometimes there was no space between them at all, like the morning when she had walked in to deliver the signed merger agreement and he had greeted her with, "Your lipstick's too faint, fix it before I forget I am supposed to focus." Or the time she passed him a printed schedule and he represented with bold font, "You know I like my documents how I like my wife, easier to read but hard to ignore." HR said nothing. Legal said nothing because no one dared say anything when it came to John Jungkook, the CEO, the walking contradiction, the man who wrote the corporate handbook and then broke it page by page just for her. The sun had barely dipped beneath the skyline by the time they stepped into the John penthouse, sleek, sprawling and quiet in the way most $1 million spaces were. Jungkook tossed his keys on the counter, shrugged off his jacket, loosened his tie, and Wyan, she spun on her heel the moment the door clicked shut. Okay, she said, pointing at a very judgmental finger at his chest. Me? Yes, you. Flirty in the meeting, flirty in the hallway. Whispering things to me in front of finance like I was not trying to calculate taxes. You looked hot when you were stressed. She narrowed her eyes. You are unwell. And married. She shot him a glare, plopping onto the plush kitchen stool, which means I get to declare tonight a full executive shutdown. He raised a brow. Meaning I am not cooking. He stopped. You are serious? Dad, she replied. You cooked 3 nights ago, and you made me late to 3 meetings today. That was performance boarding. That was sabotage. Jungkook braced both hands on the counter, boxing her in with his arms. You know, most wives want their husband to be affectionate. She leaned in slightly. Most husbands don't flirt between budget reports and client summaries. I was being subtle. You called me baby in front of the marketing director. She blushed. That's her fault. You are the reason HR keep texting me. Wine slid off the stool. Well, boss man, since you decided to be cute all day, you get to make dinner. He blinked again. You are assigning me kitchen duty? She grinned. You run an empire, I run you. Fair trade. And with that, she walked to the living room, flopped onto the velvet couch, and turned on the TV like she had not just seized the John household throne. Jungkook stood there for a full 10 seconds, stunned. Then, fine. She looked over her shoulder. He was already rolling up his sleeves, scowling at the fridge like it had personally wronged him. What do we even have? Do avocados go bad in 3 days? They went bad last day, Jungkook. The milk has trauma, she cackled from the couch. 30 minutes later, the kitchen was a disaster. The flour in his hair, a pan had been abandoned halfway through something he refused to call a sauce, and Wyan was halfway to a second life laughing. Stop laughing, he grumbled, flipping something that may or may not have been edible. I can't breathe. I am trying. You look like a Food Network blooper reel. You look like a future widow. You said this with too much conviction. He turned with a spoon. Taste this. She crossed her arms. You taste it. I don't trust myself. She sighed, stood, took the spoon, and blinked. Wait, that's actually good. His eyes lit up after her reaction. Really? You might have just made a passable dinner. Say, husband of the year. She deadpanned. Let's not get delusional. Later that night, they sat on the balcony, legs tangled, lights of the city stretching for miles below. Her head rested on his shoulder. His fingers idly drew patterns along her knee. Hey, she said softly. Thanks for the dinner. He grinned. Thanks for bossing me around. You like it? I do, he murmured. Way too much. She turned to face him. You know, you can't just pull me onto your lap every time you are bored at work, she said to Jungkook. He leaned closer, so every other time, Jungkook, he kissed her forehead. Fine, once a day. She rolled her eyes. You are lucky. I love you. No, he said, pulling her into his arms, voice lower down. I am lucky. You are mine. They stayed on the balcony longer they should have. The wind danced gently through her hair, city lights flickering in the distance like stars that refused to rest. She was warm against him, quite content, and when she lifted her eyes to meet his, it was not fire or teasing or smugness that met her there. It was certainty. Without a word, Jungkook leaned forward and kissed her, slow and unrushed, like they had nowhere to be but here. He stopped, still holding her, and she barely had time to blink before he was carrying her inside, arms curled under her knees, her laugh melting against his shoulder. Again with the lifting. You are the one who said I act clingy. You are, she murmured, and you still married me, he replied. He nudged the bedroom door open with his foot, setting her gently on the mattress like she was made of proclaim and something he was not quite finished memorizing. Then he leaned over her, bracing his arms on either side, hair falling slightly into his eyes. The air shifted. She did not tease this time, did not argue, did not say a word. She just looked at him, the man who made meeting chaos, made dinners edible, made love feel like a habit you never wanted to break, and smiled. His hand slid along her cheek, his mouth brushing hers again, slower now, more patient, more real. And when he finally whispered her name, just her name, it did not sound like a question. It sounded like home. Everything else blurred into the soft dim of the bedside light, the rustle of the sheet, the weight of his hands in her as they found the rhythm only two people in love, truly terrifyingly in love, could create. When the city outside grew quiet and only their breathing filled the space, he pressed his forehead to hers and whispered like a vow, I would marry you all over again. Vian's smile was sleepy, shy, and absolute. Then you better be ready for forever. He kissed her once more and they fell asleep the way always did now. Tangled, warm, home together. The end.